Hey y'all, welcome back to Tater's Garden YouTube channel. We're out here in the high tunnel today, and I thought I'd give you a quick tour of what's going on out here. We've had the high tunnel for I think 5 years now, which is pretty awesome. We got it through a soil conservation grant through the NRCS, and it's been a real blessing to the homestead, that's for sure. Anyway, let's do a quick tour. We have what do we have, 7 beds set up. Initially I had set up 8. I scaled it back to 7 because the things were just a little too crowded. This year you can see we've got these wood chips and then a nice bed and then wood chips. That was new this year. Before that it was just all flat. But what we did at the end of the summer, we had some help come and we dug trenches where you see those chips, and we piled that soil up. We put some mineral amendments in there to build that soil up some more, and now we have more of a semi-permanent bed system that the beds are right about the width of our tiller, and so it works out really well. If you look really close right here in the chips, I'm not sure how well you can see that, but you can see the chips here are a little fuzzy, and we inoculated the trenches of chips with mushrooms. All the skinny trenches got a mushroom called King Stropharia, which is also called wine cap. And then the wide beds on the outer perimeter, we put some oyster mushrooms in there. And up at that end of there's some fuzzy spots where I'm thinking that before too long we're going to get some mushrooms, which is super exciting. I didn't think that we were going to get mushrooms this quick. I thought that it would take a while longer, and the addition of the fungus was really just to help build the soil, because those the hyphae from the fungus will reach out into the beds, and that will just make the soil that much more enlivened, I guess is the word I'm looking for. And anyway, in the summertime we have tomatoes in here. We put tomatoes in usually in here in mid-March. We get them planted in here, and we also will use a ground cover. It's kind of like a tarp-like material. It's black. You see it a lot at in nurseries or in greenhouses. It's pretty common greenhouse material. And we plant right down the middle with the tomatoes. We put the tomatoes in here. We do mostly heirloom tomatoes, and they are set on a 18-inch between the plants, and then it's about 3.5 feet between these rows. We prune them up high and tight. We grow them up to maybe 6 feet, and then it gets too hot in here, and since they're heirlooms, they're not super long season. But they do a real good job. The folks at the market love them. We grow chocolate stripe and a variety called Striped Heart, which is a great big ox heart stripy thing. Very cool looking tomato. That's mostly what we grow in here. We'll probably put a row of eggplant right down the center. I like to keep something low in that middle row to help with airflow. And speaking of airflow, the ends of the tunnel have these gigantic doors. That's how I address the airflow problem. We set the tunnel where we set it because this was the flattest piece of land other than the front yard on the whole place. So that's why it's here instead of anywhere else. But because of its position, it happens to run with the prevailing wind. So when we open up the great big doors at either end, there is some cooling that way. Most folks would set theirs up so that the long side, one of the long sides, was facing south, so you're getting the most sun. And for us, south is kind of right there in that corner from where we are, pointing that direction. So we didn't quite get that. We get more of a morning aspect, which isn't bad, but it's not set up the way the book would tell you to set it up. But where it's set up, it helps with the cooling. Most folks will have theirs set up so the sides roll up. And their doors on the ends aren't set up for ventilation, and they ventilate through the side, and they roll that side panel up and down. And that's not how I have ended up doing it. My budget when I put the house up was only what the grant gave you, which was supposed to be 90% of what you needed to put the house up. It ended up being 100% of my budget, so I did not put the roll-up sides up. But I'm thinking I'm going to have to put those up maybe. But what I ended up doing is on the 1st of June or thereabouts, I just roll them up and tie them up tight at that time and leave them open for the rest of the summer. And that works great because it's hot, you know, here in East Tennessee. It's warm enough even at night that I don't have to worry about it getting too cold. And that's kind of the whole point with the roll-up sides, is you can come down out at night, roll them down, hold some of your heat in there, open them back up the next morning when, after it's warmed up a little bit. And certainly in here, it gets real warm. On a sunny day, it can easily be 20 or even 30 degrees warmer in this tunnel. How big is it? It's 30 feet by 76 feet. And so that's a little over 2,000 square feet. Most folks would say that's like regular garden size. So to have that inside of a structure, so you have climate control, is it's really awesome. Wow, I just noticed these chard. I mean, we put a Facebook post up last week on our Facebook page. And we had, these chards weren't quite big enough before that. They were kind of weedy, and we got in there and weeded them. And now they're just getting right up to perfect baby chard size. So I might have to update that post to move a little bit of this chard out of here. This is awesome. I just cut some turnips. That's what's in that middle row, turnips. And I'm thinning them out. They're great turnip green size right now. I'm thinning those to make room for turnip root. And hopefully we'll sell some of that stuff. I need to call Miss Green down the road because she loves turnip greens, and get her in here. Well, I probably ought to thin them for. Anyway, let's take the rest of the tour. We got some spinach on this bed. It was a winter variety. I don't specifically remember what it was called, but I had a whole bunch of that seed. I got it from Fedco, so I planted 5 rows there. The next row's carrots. I'm dismal at growing carrots. I got lucky one year and had a decent crop of carrots, but certainly there's way more henbit in that. No, that's beets. I'm sorry, the carrots are behind me. But yeah, I'm dismal at growing beets too. I got lucky with beets twice, so I thought there's good money in beets, but I can't grow them with the darn. So I think I might have, these didn't get planted in here until the middle of October. And I thought I might have been hitting it okay with the day length, but maybe it wasn't. There could be something else going on. The next bed is three rows of kale, Siberian kale, and in between those 3 rows on the inside are 2 rows of radishes. And the radishes are about half size. I do need to get in there and pull some weeds to make some more space and get some of that kale sold to make some space for things to regrow. Then we got the turnips, 5 rows of turnips. This next bed is half a row of chard and the other half is collards. The next bed is carrots, 5 rows of carrots that definitely need weeded and thinned. But like I said, I'm dismal at carrots. I think I got lucky one time. It was in the tunnel, and I put a double row in, and I was just playing around really with old seed, and they didn't do very well, but I just let them go and worked around them, and I even got my tomatoes in here, but then finally got the carrots out, and they were pretty tasty carrots. I mean, we didn't have so many to sell, but we made some pickled carrots out of them. They were amazing. And then this last bed, that's mustard. On that end, it was 1/3 of a bed of mustard, and we got some of that sold. Then it is another spinach trial. I was testing this variety of spinach and that other variety of spinach. You can see who's winning. That one is like, wow. This one looks like it would, I think, looking at that spinach, it would do better if it were really cold. It might do better than the other one if it were really cold. I feel like this is a more cold hardy variety than that other one. But in here, where I live, so far, that spinach, that's loving it. It couldn't be happier. Then up at the end of this, we have a bunch of arugula. That's what that carpet is up there, is arugula. And anyway, that's what we're growing here. That's what's going on in the high tunnel. And we will certainly, one more thing about the high tunnel, we have these little cables that are slack now. There's one there on the other side, but the cables, we tighten those up and we'll put a few 3 8-foot T-posts along the run, and we'll hang a net from them. And then these 2 beds with the cables, that's where we grow our cucumbers. And they climb up that net. We have to train them so they do only climb up the net, or they're a nightmare in here. And then the tomatoes, of course, they're on a T-post trellis as well. We'll definitely do a video on how I do my tomatoes. It's like a modified Florida weave system, and we'll do a video on that later. But anyway, I wanted to let y'all know what was going on here, and I hope everyone's doing well. Please like and subscribe and share the video. We're trying to grow the channel, so all the help we can get, all the better. So have a great one.